We, from the major faith communities of the world, meeting at the Parliament of the World's Religions, Melbourne, Australia, from 3rd to 9th December 2009, first of all send warm greetings to all who are gathering at Copenhagen for your crucially important conference. We wish to assure you that prayers are being lifted up around the world for this meeting, as we recognize that climate change is the single most important issue presently confronting us and all on Earth. The climate and the environmental crisis in general are of far greater consequence than the financial crisis, and must be dealt with even greater determination than we have seen with the financial crisis. We call on all nations of the world, but particularly the rich, to recognize humanity's dependency on the natural environment and therefore on the health and the well-being of the planet. We therefore call for a radical and meaningful agreement that places the well-being of people and planet before profits. Don't just be led by the interests of profit. We believe a dramatic reduction of carbon emissions is possible using the natural energy of the planet, which comes from renewable resources such as the sun, wind, waves, biogas. And we therefore call for a commitment to an immediate turning from reliance on fossil fuel energy and a planned and phased decline in its use in order to bring the CO2 emissions down to 350 parts per million. We believe there is a moral imperative for the rich countries to reduce carbon emissions and share wealth and skills with developing countries to adapt to climate change and build their economies sustainably. Climate justice is a matter of peace or conflict. Either we follow the moral principles upheld by all faith communities of justice and equity, and we share the resources of the world with justice, or we continue to follow selfish acquisition, resulting in ever more conflict and environmental destruction. We, religious leaders of the world, therefore call on the governments of the world to agree to the following resolution. As people of faith, we believe we have a responsibility to the source of life and to future generations to care for this planet, our home. We therefore call on the governments of the world when they meet at the UNFCCC at Copenhagen in December to take urgent and meaningful action to stem climate change. Following the latest scientific evidence, we believe we cannot allow temperatures to rise by 2 degrees. We therefore call for a reduction of CO2 emissions to a target of 350 parts per million, ensuring that emissions will have peaked by 2015 in all countries, to then decline to at least 85% below 1990 levels by 2050. We recognize the challenge of this. We know it can be done. We recognize the responsibility of the rich countries to be able to bring this about. They rescued the banks and the financial position. They can rescue the planet, and that's a far greater consequence. So we look to you for meaningful action and decision.